Good afternoon. Welcome back to our PSP Storytime reading. Today we will be reading Scooby-Doo and the Mummy's Curse. Velma was working in Egypt, helping restore the Sphinx. The Mystery Inc. gang decided to pay her a surprise visit. Velma introduced the gang to Prince Omar, who was in charge of restoring the Sphinx. Prince Omar told them about Cleopatra's hidden treasure under the Sphinx and an ancient curse that protected it. A curse? Zoinks! Shaggy and Scooby didn't like the sound of that. Suddenly, they were interrupted by loud noises and confusion. The workers scattered as motorcycles, helicopters, and Humvees invaded the area. Jeepers, Daphne explained. Did someone order a SWAT team? It's Dr. Amelia von Butch, Velma frowned. She's a notorious archaeologist and world-class treasure hunter. You mean treasure thief, Prince Omar said. Dr. Amelia and her crew marched into the tomb despite Prince Omar and Velma's protests. Several hundred feet inside the tomb, they came to a door. A curse was written on the door in an ancient language. The army of the undead will awaken, and all who enter will be turned into stone. Dr. Amelia and her gang just laughed at the curse and blew open the door with explosives. Boom! Once they passed through the forbidden door, it didn't take long for the curse to awaken. Zoink, Shaggy explained. Prince Omar's been turned to stone. Like he and the Rock of Gibraltar could be second cousins. Impossible, Dr. Amelia sneered. How can this be? We tried to warn you, Velma said to Dr. Amelia. Now look what you've done. Despite the curse, the Mystery Inc. gang had no choice but to follow Dr. Amelia further into the tomb. Soon they came to a room where the floor was booby-trapped. Just our luck, Scoob, Shaggy cried. Out of the frying pan and into the microwave. Shaggy and Scooby were separated from the others. They wandered into a big room with empty caskets. Hey, Scoob, you know who tucks a mummy into bed at night? Shaggy said. His mummy. Arrgh. Shaggy thought Scooby was groaning at his lame joke, but the groan was coming from creepy mummies headed their way. It was the army of the undead. They attacked the others too. Fall back, Dr. Amelia ordered, as some of her men were dragged away. Jinkies, Velma cried. Run! Everyone scattered, but the tomb was an especially dangerous place to be chased by mummies. There were traps that shot arrows, sharp blades, and fireballs. There were even crocodiles swimming in an underground river. After Daphne and Fred finally lost the mummies, they made a terrible discovery. Sometime during the chase, Velma had been turned to stone too. That curse is going down, Fred said angrily. This time it's personal. First Omar, now Velma. Which one of us is next? Daphne cried. Scooby-Doo, where are you? Meanwhile, Scooby and Shaggy had jumped into a casket to hide from the mummies. The floor collapsed around them, and they found themselves rushing down an underground river rapid. Goodbye, cruel whirlpool, Shaggy said. Whoa, cried Scooby-Doo. Luckily, Shaggy and Scooby made it safely through the whirlpool. They floated to a place called the Lost City. Armed soldiers quickly surrounded them, then suddenly gasped and started bowing. All hail the great Ascubus, said a soldier. He has returned as it was foretold. Along with Shag-and-Cum and his lanky manservant, cried another soldier. They thought Scooby-Doo was their ancient pharaoh. Hotep, the ruler of the Lost City, called for a great banquet to be held in their honor. Like man, Scoob, Shaggy grinned. It looks like our luck is finally changing. Uh-huh, Scooby agreed, laughing happily. When the banquet was over, Hotep announced, Now it is time for Ascubus to fulfill the prophecy. He must sacrifice himself to the all-powerful spirit of the sand. Scooby and Shaggy were placed inside an arena with swords and shields, and a giant scorpion was released. Z-z-zoink, Shaggy cried. They ran all over the arena to avoid being stung. The scorpion attacked with its stinger again and again. Just when it looked like they were done for, Shaggy and Scooby ran to the lagoon. The scorpion chased them, and fell into the water with a big splash. Crackle, psst! The scorpion sparkled and fizzled. It was a giant robot. Hotep was really a criminal who had tricked the people of the lost city into letting him rule. I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for you meddling, phony pharaohs, Hotep growled as the soldiers took him to jail. Later, back in the tomb under the Sphinx, Fred came up with a plan to stop the curse. He instructed Shaggy and Scooby to sneak into Cleopatra's crypt, but the guard mummies saw through their disguises and they had to run for it. Like so much for Masterpiece Theater, Shaggy said as they ran. Shaggy and Scooby lost the mummies and hid in a strange room filled with burlap sacks and statue molds. Shaggy sat down, then sprang back up. Like, what's up with the soggy seating arrangements? Shaggy had sat in wet cement. Hey, these are bags of cement. I wonder what they're doing down here. But they don't have time to solve the cement puzzle. They had a job to do. Scooby and Shaggy snuck back to the crypt where the ghost of Cleopatra and the mummies had captured Dr. Amelia and her henchmen. When Fred gave the signal, Scooby and Shaggy swung for the gong. Scooby-Dooby-Doo and Shaggy too, they hollered. Gong! A huge ship suddenly appeared filled with soldiers from the lost city. It was a surprise attack. As the battle raged, Dr. Amelia crept away and discovered an ancient treasure chamber. Mystery Inc. followed right behind her, and Cleopatra right behind them. When Dr. Amelia snatched Cleopatra's crown, the room suddenly began to shake and quake. The river came crashing in. Whoosh! No, cried Cleopatra. The treasure room had been booby-trapped. The river was flooding the entire tomb. Luckily, the gang found a boat nearby and paddled as fast as they could to stay afloat. Shaggy turned to see Cleopatra at the rear of the boat, paddling just as fast. Keep paddling, Scoob, Shaggy gulped. She's right behind us. Whoosh! They were washed out from the Sphinx. Their boat crashed outside. Scooby sniffed at Cleopatra, then he licked her, and her mask came off. Cleopatra was really Velma Dinkley. Velma had dressed up like Cleopatra, and Prince Omar and his workers had dressed up as mummies to frighten away treasure hunters. No one had really been turned to stone. The statues were made from the cement and mold Shaggy and Scooby saw. I didn't let you guys in on our plans because I didn't want any of you to get hurt, Velma told the gang. Later, there was a big celebration. The treasure was returned to Egypt's people, Dr. Amelia and her henchmen were captured, and the restoration of the Sphinx was completed safely. All thanks to Prince Omar, the kids from Mystery Inc., and of course, Scooby-Doo. That's our book for today. Tune in next week for more.